I went to collect the limited edition emerald necklace I'd reserved a month ago, only to find my husband buying it out from under me by aggressively outbidding the reservation. The next morning, his pretty young secretary pranced around the office, flaunting it around her neck. With a cold smile, I reached into my handbag, pulled out a handful of identical necklaces from previous years, and casually distributed them to my colleagues. "They're just cheap trinkets, really. Here, take them and have some fun." My colleagues erupted in joy. The faces of my husband and his little secretary, however, turned the same shade of green as the gems. Moments later, I slapped a divorce agreement onto my husband's face. "I kept man who dares to keep a mistress," I sneered. "Who gave you the audacity?" Last night, after work, I'd gone to the high-end boutique to pick up the necklace. But as I approached, I saw my husband, Julian, standing at the counter, his voice loud and arrogant. "What do you mean it's reserved? I'll pay double the price." "I'm sorry, sir, I really can't. A lady reserved this a month in advance." Julian waved a dismissive hand, his voice booming again. "Triple. And that's my final offer." The sales assistant, who had been hesitant just a moment before, froze. After a brief, internal struggle, she gritted her teeth and nodded. Watching Julian walk away with the necklace, a triumphant smirk on his face, a cold, desolate feeling washed over me. I didn't bother confronting the sales assistant who had sold her integrity for a commission. I just turned and left, a hollow ache in my chest. Back home, a text from Julian came through. "Honey, have to pull an all-nighter at the office. Don't wait up." 30 minutes later, his secretary, Chloe, posted on her social media. "I told him I wanted the very first limited edition emerald in the city, so he outbid someone's reservation and bought it for me. I'm so in love." The accompanying photo was of her hand intertwined with a man's. The wedding ring on his finger was one I had bought. I laughed, a cold, sharp sound in the empty house, and tossed my phone aside. I met Julian in college. He was the prodigy of the art department, pale, slender, with a refined, ethereal beauty. He carried himself with the air of an artist who was above the mundane world. It was love at first sight for me. I pursued him relentlessly. The line of his admirers was long, but after 4 years, just before graduation, he finally agreed to be with me. We married soon after, and I brought him into my family's corporation. Julian went from a struggling artist facing unemployment to the son-in-law of the powerful Nicorp. It wasn't long before he was promoted to vice president. He was grateful, telling everyone I had allowed him to bypass 30 years of struggle. He treated me like a queen, and I believed I had found the man I could entrust my life to. We were the perfect couple in everyone's eyes, the talented beauty and the successful businesswoman. But we had only been married for 3 years, and it seemed he was already getting restless. Not only had he hired a secretary without consulting me, but he had also learned to lie and cheat. I barely slept that night. The next morning, I walked into the office to a chorus of excited chatter. "Chloe, let us see that emerald. I've been dreaming of one, but I could never afford it. Mr. Thorne must adore you, paying triple the price. Your relationship must be more than just professional, haha. I wonder whose reservation he stole. She must be heartbroken. Probably some rich woman." Chloe stood in the center of a fawning circle of women, stroking the necklace at her throat with an air of smug satisfaction. "You can look, but don't touch," she cooed. "This cost over $3 million. You couldn't afford to replace it if you broke it." Seeing her wearing my necklace, her nose in the air, sent a jolt of anger through me. As luck would have it, my bag was filled with similar pieces from the same brand's past collections, brought in for a photo shoot for a jewelry feature. I walked over, grabbed a handful, and smiled brightly. "They're just cheap trinkets, really. Here, everyone, take one and have some fun." The truth is, this brand releases a limited edition piece every year. The quality is consistent, only the design has minor variations. They're marketing pieces designed for the wealthy with time on their hands, valued more for their novelty and scarcity than anything else. I happen to like their designs, so I made a point of acquiring each year's piece. To have this year's snatched away by Julian's secretary, using my money, was infuriating. My announcement sent the women into a frenzy. They abandoned Chloe and swarmed me, their eyes wide as saucers. Wow, Ms. Ni, you're so generous. Giving away such expensive necklaces. I want one. I want one. Thank you for making my dream come true, Ms. Ni. I love you. Oh my god, is that the Millennium Edition? Can I have that one, Ms. Ni? It's worth way more than Chloe's. In their chaotic scramble, they knocked Chloe to the ground. Hey! What's going on here? Don't you apologize for knocking someone over? Julian had appeared from nowhere. He helped Chloe to her feet, and she nestled into his arms, looking pitiful. Julian, look at these unsophisticated women, getting so worked up over a few necklaces. There. I'll buy you more in the future. His eyes then found me in the center of the crowd, and he froze. He instinctively pushed Chloe away, his face a mask of embarrassment. Victoria, you're in early today. I was just helping Ms. Ling up. I raised an eyebrow, a smirk playing on my lips as I looked at the guilty pair. Oh, really? That's a nice necklace you have there. It looks exactly like the one I had reserved. You didn't buy it yourself, did you? At this, both Julian and Chloe's faces turned a sickly green. They exchanged a panicked glance. Julian swallowed hard, forcing himself to remain calm. I bought it for her. She often accompanies me to business meetings. It helps project a good image for the company. Chloe added weakly, I'm sorry, Ms. Ni. This necklace is too expensive for me. I can give it back to you. I scoffed. A worthless necklace that costs a few million? Besides, someone else has already worn it. It's tainted. You can keep it. Chloe's face flushed red and white. She kept glancing at Julian, hoping he would defend her. But he just stood there with his head bowed like a quail, not daring to say a word. What could he say? The black card he used was a supplementary one from my account. Every cent he spent was mine. Did he have the right to argue? Did he dare? Humiliated, Chloe scurried back to her desk. Watching her pathetic retreat, I let out a soft laugh. Some people don't even check who they're cheating with. Did she really think she'd landed a sugar daddy? He was just a leech. The moment I got back to my office, Julian followed me in, wrapping his arms around me from behind in a placating gesture. Come on, honey. It's just a necklace. I honestly didn't know you reserved it. It's all my fault. Don't take it out on a young girl. I pushed him away in disgust and turned to face him, my gaze cold. I don't care about the stupid necklace, Julian. Tell me honestly. Are you sleeping with her? He froze, then immediately put on a look of martyred innocence, raising his hand to swear. I swear, if I have ever done anything to betray you, may I die a horrible death. I narrowed my eyes, studying his still handsome face, and sighed. You'd better be telling the truth. Let's leave it at that. Don't let it happen again. His position as vice president, his black card, the villa, the luxury cars, everything he had, I gave him. And to be fair, while he had zero business acumen, he had taken excellent care of me these past few years. He made me breakfast, picked out my clothes, drew my baths, and gave me massages. He was a dutiful and attentive-kept man. But everything changed a month ago when he hired Chloe, a fresh college graduate, without my permission. Suddenly, he was working hard, volunteering for business trips and client meetings. At first, I thought he was finally trying to stand on his own 2 feet. Then I noticed the large, unaccounted-for expenses on his card after every overtime session, and the lingering scent of another woman's perfume. I had my suspicions, but he always had a plausible excuse, and I never pushed it. Even with his oath today, I wasn't a fool. My gut told me his relationship with Chloe was far from simple. After work, Julian held the passenger door open for me as usual. I got in and opened the glove compartment for a bottle of water, but my fingers brushed against several wads of lipstick-stained tissues. A white-hot rage surged through me. I grabbed the tissues and threw them in his face as he got into the driver's seat. If I ever find another bitch has been in my car, I will break her legs. Julian's face went pale. Before he could stammer out an excuse, his phone rang. He jumped out of the car to answer it. Even from inside, I could hear his furious, whispered tirade. Chloe, you idiot. Are you trying to get me killed? I told you to clean up after yourself before you got out. What? You went drinking? The Maple Leaf Bar? You are nothing but trouble. Stay put, I'm coming to get you. When he got back in the car, he had composed himself. He glanced at me nervously. Honey, Chloe is upset about what happened today and got drunk at a bar. I have to go pick her up. She is my subordinate, after all. I can't just leave her there. Can you take a taxi home? He looked at me with pleading eyes, but he didn't dare move until I gave him permission. I let out a cold laugh. Are all her family members dead? Is she waiting for the company VP to be her personal chauffeur? She skipped out of work to go drinking, and now you have to fetch her? Are you her father? Julian fell silent, his face shifting between shades of green and white. When we first got together, he swore he would never even look at another woman. Now, he was not only sleeping with his secretary behind my back but also spending millions on her. And now this. Letting her ride in my car. Did he really think I was that naive? The truth was, I was just soft-hearted, reluctant to let go of the man I had loved for 7 years. I wasn't an idiot. That night, Julian didn't come home. The excuse was that Chloe had drunk herself into a case of gastric bleeding and he had to stay with her at the hospital. The next morning, I walked into the office to the sound of Julian roaring in the conference room. A moment later, 4 or 5 employees filed out, looking devastated, and began packing their desks. I stopped one of them. What happened? Mr. Thorne said we made fun of Ms. Ling yesterday and upset her so much she drank until she got sick. He forced us to apologize and then fired us. My face hardened. I stormed over and threw open the conference room door. Chloe was sobbing in Julian's arms. They sprang apart when they saw me. Julian's face was a cold mask. Ms. and I, while you may be the president of this company, your public humiliation of Chloe yesterday has caused her to become depressed. You will apologize to her, lest there be more serious consequences. I stared at him in disbelief. Julian, did I hear you correctly? You use my credit card to buy a multi-million-dollar necklace for your secretary behind my back, and when she gets called out on it, she can't handle the truth? What exactly should I apologize for? For not praising her necklace? For not praising you for being such a doting boss? Is that it? He was speechless, his face turning the color of liver. Chloe ducked her head and ran out of the room. Julian immediately chased after her. I strode out of the conference room and addressed the employees he had just fired. You all can stop packing. You did nothing wrong. In fact, you exposed inappropriate behavior between a subordinate and a superior. That deserves a commendation. Everyone gets an extra $2,000 bonus this month. A cheer went up. Thank you, Ms. Ni. You're the best. Then I turned my attention to Julian and Chloe, who were about to flee the building. Julian Thorne. Chloe Ling. It is working hours. Where do you think you're going? If either of you steps out that door today, consider yourselves fired. And don't bother coming back. They shuffled back sheepishly. I shot Julian a look that could kill. My office. Now. It seems we have some accounts to settle. Back in my office, Julian glared at me. Did you have to make such a scene in front of everyone? I'm the vice president. How can I command any respect if I can't even fire a few employees? I laughed coldly and pulled a document from my desk drawer. It was a divorce agreement. Respect? You won't have to worry about that anymore. Sign it. We're getting a divorce. He stared at me, stunned. What? A divorce? Because of what happened today? It's not just about today. Do you need more reasons? I pulled another file from the drawer and emptied its contents onto the desk. A pile of lurid photos of a man and a woman, naked and entangled, spilled out. Is this enough? All the color drained from Julian's face. He dropped to his knees. Victoria, I'm so sorry. It was all Chloe. That bitch set me up. She seduced me. It was at a recruitment fair a month ago, he babbled, his voice cracking. She said she wanted to ask about the company's requirements and invited me to dinner. She drugged my drink. The next thing I knew, I was in bed with her. Then she threatened me with the photos. She said if I didn't give her a job, she'd expose me to you and the chairman. Honey, I was wrong. I should have told you then, but I was so scared of losing you. Please, don't fire me. Don't divorce me. Just give me one more chance to fix this, please? The man who had once been so proud and aloof, brought low by 3 years of being kept. I suddenly realized that perhaps I had spoiled him. Too much, that the money and luxury had corrupted him, turning him into someone I no longer recognized. My heart ached with disappointment. But in that moment, one thing was crystal clear. I no longer loved him. This wasn't about the 7 years or getting bored. I had loved him for 7 years, 4 in college, 3 in marriage, and my feelings had never wavered even when surrounded by temptation after taking over the family business. But him? A meaningless VP title had gone to his head. This wasn't even the first time. There had been complaints before, about him trying to leverage his position with female college students during recruitment. But there was never any proof, and I had believed him. Now he was brazenly carrying on an affair right under my nose and blaming the woman. 7 years. I had given him enough chances. I had no hope left for him. Seeing my resolve, he scrambled forward and clutched my leg. Honey, believe me. I'll change. I'll call Chloe in right now and fire her in front of you. Before I could respond, he ran out and dragged Chloe into the office, pushing her down in front of me. Chloe, you bitch. Tell Ms. and I the truth. Didn't you drug me and set me up? As he raged, I noticed him frantically signaling to her with his eyes. I just smiled and met Chloe's gaze. It doesn't matter who seduced whom. The fact is, you had an affair. Think carefully about what you want to say. Chloe gritted her teeth, shot a venomous glare at Julian, and then looked at me, her voice firm. At the recruitment fair, it was Julian who offered me the secretary position and invited me to dinner. He drugged me in the private room and took me to a hotel. Afterward, he said he had photos and would ruin me online if I didn't obey him. Ms. and I didn't drug him. Everything he said he did to me, he did to me. I raised my eyebrows and started to clap slowly. Bravo. What a spectacular performance. The thief crying thief. Julian, I thought you were a painter. When did you switch to the dramatic arts? No. She's lying. Honey, don't believe a word that comes out of that filthy mouth. I'm telling the truth. He's the liar. Ms. and I, that monster raped and blackmailed me. I have proof. Julian, you bastard, you ruined my life and then tried to frame me? I'll kill you. They started physically fighting right there in my office. I cut them off with a disgusted shout. Enough. No one cares which one of you two degenerates seduced the other. Julian. Sign the papers. Then both of you get out. Or I'll call the police right now and report a rape. Let them figure out who drugged whom. That shut them up. Chloe, biting her lip, looked at me. Ms. and I, please don't call the police. I don't want my family to know. I'll pack my things and leave immediately. After she left, Julian stared at me, a flicker of malice in his eyes. You're really going to fire me? And divorce me? I didn't answer. He snatched the pen and signed the agreement. Fine. But I will use this 1-month cooling off period to prove to you that I love you, and that I was framed. You will take me back. Get out, I said, my voice flat. I took the signed papers and locked them in my drawer. He gave me one last, resentful look and left. The day's drama left a sour taste in my mouth. I finally made it to the end of the workday, but as I stepped out of the elevator, I was greeted by the sight of a giant heart made of rose petals on the floor. Julian was kneeling in the middle of it, holding a massive bouquet. "Honey, I love you. I know I was wrong. Please forgive me," he shouted. It was peak rush hour. The elevator was packed. I wasn't moved, I was mortified. I pretended not to see him and walked quickly towards my car. He scrambled after me, unlocked the car with my key fob, and opened the passenger door with a flourish. I let out a cold laugh, walked around to the driver's side, and got in. He stood there, stunned. I held out my hand. "Mr. Thorne, thank you for opening my door. But your services are no longer required. The keys, please." He numbly handed them over. I locked the doors and looked at him. "And don't come to the company to harass me again. You're embarrassing me." As I started the car, he jumped in front of it, his eyes filled with tears. "Honey, we've been married for 3 years. I've served you for 3 years. Even if I contributed nothing to the company, I worked hard for you. Are you really going to throw me away so heartlessly? Who will cook for you now? Who will draw your baths and give you massages? Who will satisfy you every night and make you scream?" I couldn't believe the words coming out of his mouth. All about what he did for me, nothing about what he got from me. "You served me for 3 years, and in return, I made you the vice president of Nycorp. You had a black card with no limit. You lived in a villa and drove luxury cars. You went from a poor country boy to a member of high society. What more could you possibly want? Any of the things you listed, I could hire a maid to do. And what maid gets paid that well? As for satisfying me, are you the only man on earth? You think I can't find another boyfriend? Is this your justification for spending my money to cheat on me right under my nose? Julian, you don't miss me. You miss my money. You don't love me anymore." He was speechless. I slammed my foot on the accelerator, leaving him in a cloud of exhaust, bewildered and alone. After that, he didn't bother me again. For a while, there was peace. I thought I would just wait out the month, get the divorce finalized, and be done with him. Then the disaster struck. My assistant burst into my office. "Ms. Ni, you have to see this. There's an account on social media, Windcatcher, spreading fake, malicious stories about you." I didn't usually bother with short-form video apps, but I logged on. A story with my name in the headline was the #1 trending topic. Nycorp President Victoria Ni's scandalous private life, dumps husband of 7 years. The article painted me as a promiscuous married woman having affairs with multiple business leaders, complete with dozens of photos of me at dinners, shaking hands, even hugging clients. These were normal business interactions, but the text twisted them into something sordid. At the end, a line read, "For more eye-popping photos, private message me." I created a burner account and sent a message. Within minutes, my inbox was flooded with hundreds of photoshopped images of me, naked with dozens of well-known CEOs, in pornographic poses I couldn't have imagined. I was incandescent with rage. I immediately had our legal team screenshot everything and prepare a lawsuit. A quick scan of the comments showed that people were already buying the lies, attacking me viciously. The scandal sent our stock price tumbling and even reached my father. He called, his voice tight with frustration. "Vicky, I told you not to get involved with that Lei Yang. Now the rabid dog is biting the hand that fed it. Get PR to issue a statement immediately, and have legal sue him into the ground." "Don't worry, Dad," I said, my hand gripping the phone tightly. "I'm already on it." I had our PR department issue a statement from Nycorp's official account. Julian Thorne fired for inappropriate relationship with secretary, faces divorce for infidelity. The post detailed his abuse of power during recruitment and, for the grand finale, included security footage of their trysts in the office, in my car, and at hotels. The story exploded, immediately eclipsing his fabricated one. The comments section went wild. "No way. Julian Thorne had the audacity to cheat on Victoria Ni? He's finished." The photos of her affairs were obviously fake, but these videos are real. That bastard is toast. The guy couldn't even handle being a kept man properly. He had a young, beautiful, rich wife and it still wasn't enough. Our legal team quickly confirmed with the platform that the Windcatcher account belonged to Julian. Not only did Nycorp press charges, but so did all the CEOs whose images had been used in the fake photos. Within hours, the account was banned. Our stock price stabilized and even began to climb. The police issued a nationwide warrant for Julian's arrest. He became a fugitive and vanished. Just when I thought he had fled the country, he appeared in my villa late one night. I had already had the locks changed, but he must have made a copy of the key. He looked disheveled and desperate. "What do you want? Money?" He pulled out a dagger, a grin spreading across his face. "What else can you give me, love? Transfer 10 million to this account. Now. Not a cent less." He threw a piece of paper with an account number at me. "My personal account doesn't have that much liquid cash. It would have to go through the company. But I have gold bars in the safe. You could take those. It's less risky for you." His eyes lit up. "Of course. I forgot about the gold. Still so clever, my wife." He forced me to open the safe, and he greedily stuffed all 30 gold bars into his backpack. Then he sat on the bed, wiping sweat from his brow, and sighed. "You know, honey, it didn't have to come to this. If you would just forgive me, even now, I would give it all up and be a good husband again." I just shook my head, speechless. "Julian, honestly, I have never wronged you. But what you've done, it has hurt me too deeply. I loved you so much. I pursued you for 4 years and was married to you for 3. How could you betray me like that?" He looked genuinely ashamed. I don't know. I don't know how I became this person. Going from a poor kid to having all this money and status. I lost my sense of self. I felt so empty, so I sought thrills to feed my growing ego. I was wrong. I truly know that I was wrong. I'm a soft-hearted person. Seeing his remorse, I felt a pang of pity. "Julian, we can never be husband and wife again. But I promise you, if you take this gold, leave, and live a quiet life, I won't report you. Okay?" He let out a choked, bitter laugh. "So stupid. If we were still married, this gold would have been mine anyway. But it's too late for regrets now. So be it. I hope you don't find another scumbag like me." He threw the key on the floor, shouldered his bag, and walked out. The moment he stepped outside, the villa was flooded with the sound of sirens. The police had been watching the house for days, just waiting for him to show up. The gold was returned to me on the spot. But in a final, shocking twist, as the police moved to arrest him, Julian used his own dagger to slit his throat. His last word to me was a whispered, "Sorry." After Julian's death, I threw myself into my work. The whole ordeal forced me to re-examine my views on love. I realized there was wisdom in my parents' advice. Wisdom I had ignored. I had seen Julian's talent and good looks, but I had been blind to his character and upbringing. My parents saw the mismatch from the beginning. I still believe in love. But I will no longer be so blind. The rest of my life stretches out before me. Someday, someone more worthy of my love will appear.